All right, everybody, so welcome back. We are out at the Barndominium. We're standing in the shop right now, and you can see behind me that we've gotten insulation done. Windows are in. If you've not watched our window install video, check that out. We kind of go over installing Anderson windows here. As you walk inside, you'll see that drywall is here, and we are insulated. So a few things we'll hit in this video. One of them is the insulation. I'm a very big proponent and user of this blown-in blanket insulation. So this wall cavity has a net over it. They put a hole in a couple of places and they fill the wall space full of blown insulation. That's supposed to yield around an R15 in a 2x4 wall. So good insulation. One of the things that I really like about it, I'll show you right over here, is that it fills in around boxes fairly well. You can see here that we're tight around that box, around that electrical outlet. And that's, to me, a big advantage with this over regular batt insulation is that we get better air sealing around those boxes and stuff. Here's another one. Looks pretty good. You can see that it is all the way around it. And usually when they cut batt insulation around it, it's just not as neat a job. Now this wall that's in between the living space and the shop does have batt insulation in it. And that's kind of just our normal thing that we would do there. And you can see that where they cut it and do different things, it's just not the same level of air sealing that you get with that bib system. The reason that I'm okay with it over there in that wall is that that space is still insulated as well. Now, it's not insulated the way the house is, but it is insulated. That's not an outside wall. It is just a partition wall there. So that's one of the things that we look at in that. Now, we laid out the options to foam the roof deck. That is below the roof deck. These are scissor trusses, and instead that's an R38 batt that is put in there below the roof deck. So that's what we have going on in that space. Same thing out here in the sunroom porch area. This is going to be a pretty cool deal out here. We'll show you more about it later. You can see the spiral duct. That is going to be the finished product to get HVAC, to get heat and air into not only this space, which is the kitchen and great room that I'm standing in, but also it will go out into that sunroom space and provide all the HVAC out there as well. So another little deal that we're doing out here today, I'm going to step over here and walk through the walls and show you. So we used a floor truss system, just the way that we had to lay mechanicals and stuff out since it's on a slab. And if you can see right up there, that toilet flange will end up biting about half of that floor truss in two. And we're going to do a bracing job on that. The truss company will send us a drawing on how they want that stuff braced and fixed. And so we're going to do a couple of repairs, and I'll show you what we did to fix those and how we hopefully keep that from ever being a problem down the road at any point. Okay, so I want to show you a little bit more of a close-up here of one of the repairs that we're going to make, and just kind of talk about what they did and everything. It's this is my job, and we take pride in what we do, but I also will own when there's a problem. This is a problem. So right here, if you look, you can see that that 2x12 has a groove cut in it that they, I think, had planned on getting this truss web, this diagonal truss web, to fit in this groove. Clearly it's backwards, or when they put it up there it didn't quite fit, so they just went ahead and cut the truss web in two. You just don't cut truss webs. That's just not something that you do. It can be cut, but there's a repair that the truss manufacturer would put out on how to fix that. So we've had them send us drawings on what they want done, and the short version of what they're wanting is a piece of 3/4 plywood applied to it and screwed off with long structural screws and also glued. So I'm going to wind up cutting a piece of plywood there. There's some dead wood here that's in the way. I'm going to have to cut the end of this back to try to make it fit and get in there the way it needs to be. So got to do some modification and get this thing to where that we can brace that dude up and make it back a little bit more rigid. Now, reality is where this is sitting and everything, it's not going to, where it shouldn't pose any real big problem, but we just don't want it to create a problem down the road, because we're going to cover this up with drywall and hopefully he never has to ever get to it. So that's kind of our goal, is to get that done and just make it as close to as good as new as we can get it. Okay, so I've cut the dead wood out right here. We've applied some liquid nail adhesive on here, and on each side of that we're gonna fasten a piece of 3/4 inch Advantech plywood and shoot it with a couple of nails to hold it in place. Then we wind up, we're gonna fill it full of screws. Okay, so what we've got, we've taken a piece of that Advantech, glued it on each piece, and then we're using a 4-inch headlock fasten master structural screw that we're screwing into the truss itself. And that way it's they'd said screwed off on a 4-inch spacing, and we've got that, or maybe even just a touch more. And basically that becomes a compression member for that truss where it's been weakened by that cord being cut. So we're gonna go around, finish up the rest of these real quick, show you a couple places. We're gonna add some blocking in some bathrooms and stuff, and so try to get this moving on. Wrapping up here, you can see made the repair there. We also right here, there was a toilet flange, and we've done a similar repair there. It's a lot of structural screws, glue, and 3/4 plywood stuck to both sides of the floor truss. I've got all of my help here. Melissa's here, and Chloe, where are you? So we've got that upstairs. There she goes. Upstairs, the bathtub is getting a tile surround, and so I added some 2x4s on each side of it, because we do not put tile on drywall. We will line those walls with a product like Hardy Backer board, Durarock, something of that nature, and then waterproof over the top of that. And so we want to be able to make a transition to where the drywall comes up the side of it, and then the tile board goes up, and our tile's able to lay over the top of the drywall and make a nice joint there. So got that done. There's a little doorway that he's wanted in the closet to be able to get access underneath the steps. Just have some additional storage. And I've still got a wall to build right here across the master shower, but I don't have a treated 2x4 here to put that plate down. So that's the last thing that I know of that I have to get done before drywall can be complete. The drywall guys didn't show up today. It's kind of the typical nature of things. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with the Barndominium. A lot of stuff has taken place over the last few weeks. A lot of stuff to still take place. We're looking at cabinets showing up sometime next week, it looks like. Probably flooring. There's a lot of tile. He's decided, I think, to do tile flooring throughout the entire ground floor. And so we're going to probably start on that tile floor here in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So there'll be a lot taking place here in the next little bit. So thanks for watching. Hope that you'll subscribe to the channel and keep in touch with us. If there's a topic that you'd like to know more about in the construction field, send us a message, put it in the comments. We've got some videos coming up. We talked a little bit about insulation today, but we've got a video with a guy that I've met that's a foam installer. We're gonna go out and look at spray foam and the pros and cons and kind of what his process is. We're gonna do that next few weeks. We've also gonna probably go look at some fireplaces. Believe it or not, there's a lot to fireplaces. So got those things coming up. And like I say, if there's anything else that you can think of, shoot it into the comments and we'll try to figure it out and give you a video on it. Thanks for watching.